Okay, so g'day possums, bandicoots, ningoi. No, phascogales. I like phascogales and quolls. So today we are talking about Australian pre-decimal coins, and this is the Threepence from 1919. So we do say threepence, but in the past, especially when they used the coin, they call it threepence. And it's the smallest silver coin that Australia issued. It is not really a remarkable coin. All we have is the first coat of arms of Australia. So it's the shield, and we have the Southern Cross in the centre with the English flag. We have an emu and a kangaroo. Now, these are the two most common animals that you're going to find in every state. So the emu just has one species, kangaroo has different species. Most people know the eastern and grey kangaroo, which is part of the Macropus genus, and then we have the red kangaroo, but there's also a lot of other smaller kangaroos with a more restricted range. We have threepence, and we have the Federation Star. So this has 1 point for each of the states, another point for every other territory, and has Advanced Australia. Now this one down below has the M mint mark, and that stands for Melbourne, date 1919. Now the only major error error you're going to find is there's a die crack going from the back of the emu to the actual rim. Looks like it's actually having diarrhea, or they call it a third leg, but it's too far away. If it was a third leg, I'd expect it to be start around here somewhere, but it looks like I call it a diarrhea emu, not diarrhea. That will be over this side. So this coin is actually in pretty good grade. The only thing that lets it down is this. So someone's clamped it there, probably tried to cut it, and has some damage there, but pretty much this coin is in pretty good condition of the grade that you want it. Okay, now the third side of the coin is plain, so it has no reading on it, and this side we have the portrait of George V, and this was designed by Edgar McKennell, and it was used on most coins. Only the United Kingdom. Where do I have that penny? Okay, the United Kingdom didn't use that portrait, they used the uncrowned version, but pretty much everywhere else used the crowned version. And by grace of God, King of Britain, Defender of Faith, Emperor of India. So that's basically what that says. And this type, this design was used from 1910 to 1936, although in 1910 they had Edward's face on the coin, and George V only was placed on the coin in 1911. And in 1937 they minted the 1936 coins. Okay, so here we have the coin, and as you can see, 1911, 1936 is minted for 25 years, 1/80th of a pound, and it's 92.5% silver, 1.41 grams. So the actual value, this is what Numister is good for. It gives you some errors, which are the 1919 doesn't have any unique ones for that year. So 1919 had a mintage of 3,201,000, so it's pretty common. And these are values that people brought in the past, and I've seen sold values on eBay and some other sites, and it seems to roughly agree with that. So this doesn't take into account inflation or the movement in silver price, although it probably should. And as you can see, 12% of people who have this type of coin have this date, and 3 million is probably on the lower half of the mintage range. And the metal values are for the 20th of September 2025 is $2.74. And we've got two good websites. We have all coin values, and they give you the information, they give you mintages. So I think this price is here for 1919. It's probably a little bit high, so I would halve that. Then you got this one, Coins Australia, and that one gives probably a more reasonable price. Okay, if you go to eBay, you can see different coins that are for sale. So these ones are all sold. This one uncirculated 175, and where is it? Okay, that one, yeah, it looks pretty good. I would say it's uncirculated. Has some damage, so probably almost uncirculated. I don't see any errors. No, that's an actual, probably the type of coin you want to get. Then we have other ones. Do we have any error coins? No, I don't see any are sold. But as you can see, low grade ones, you'd be probably starting off $5-6. If you're lucky, you can get one for under that grade. But if it was me, I'd just try and get stuff like this, because you get free coins for pretty much the price of one. And that one is that one, so this is probably all fine. None of them are very fine and well circulated coins. So I don't know how much a Threepence can actually buy in the past, but you can probably calculate based on silver value. And here's another one, Threepence, nice, for $9. And that one's probably just, if you're going to start out in coin collecting, then that's what you want. Okay, so let's see if we can find any of the error coins. It's probably not very common. I think I did find one in the past, but I'm not too sure. So 1919, what happened in that year? Okay, so basically this is all the main events. They probably can expand it, but the most important thing was first flight, okay, the peace treaty with Germany, receive roll of assent, confirming Australia's membership as a sovereign nation. So even then, people wanted Australia to be independent. That's why we had federation. So we were independent from the United Kingdom. That's why we were part of the League of Nations. But the most important thing is the Peace of Paris, which Australia delegates, succeeded in excluding recognition of the principle of racial equality in the League of Nations Covenant. So it's not, you need to look up that. So that's pretty damning on Australia, saying, you know, that the races are not equal, and there's no evidence that that is not the case. They're pretty equal, intelligence-wise. The thing that mainly separates people from different areas is probably culture, and more importantly, educational background. So the more you educate a person, the more they can accomplish. If they don't want to be educated themselves, well, they're going to accomplish what they can with their limited means. Okay, so that's basically it. Prime Minister was Billy Hughes, pretty much based on that. I'd say he's a fairly racist guy. So the population of 5 million. So obviously the mintage for this coin, or even a lot of these other coins, is lower than the population. That indicates that they circulate for quite a long time, and there was not as much need to pump coins into the actual economy. Okay, we're looking for errors. Okay, no errors. So we're looking for mainly just die cracks and probably some cuds, or they call them dots, but they're pretty much cuds. And no, don't find any on them. Most of these images are actually quite good. So these are the images you want. This one's too blurry. So as you can see, these are quite a common coin for 3 million. So, and because of the small value, a lot of them are not taken in by the mint when we change over decimal currency to melt them down. So no, And I don't see any errors. I don't know, I might have an error. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. So what we have here is we have a card here and there. So it's probably, that's one of the areas you want to go. And $75. Mint luster, yeah, I'd say it's very fine. Okay, that's an error. Looks like there's an alpha error here. You have to mark it as an error coin. And as you can see, die crack. So the dies had too much pressure and damage. Don't see much ava wear on the actual die, so just too much pressure. Look, someone's made, is it cufflinks or whatever they used to use. But I'm really looking for that one with the diarrhea emu. Okay, no. And you get high grade ones. So, pretty good. No. None of that special error that I'm looking for. So basically that's what you need to look for in the 1919 Threepence coin. This one's quite nice and I'm going to keep this one. And I'm actually trying to get a typeset of the whole series. Anyway, thank you very much. Have an awesome coin and banknote collecting time and take care.